The time is 4:43, and you're live on Salam Media with me, Salalo Makwidiri, on World Cup Talk, where I'll be with you from until 5-ish, where we'll be discussing the World Cup, everything and anything that's happening in Qatar, how the teams are playing, how the Qataris are hosting the world, and you know, insight on some of your favorite players, some of your favorite teams, and how they're performing. And today I have a really, really interesting guest who's going to be joining us to chat about the round of 16, so some of the standout matches from there, and also the quarterfinals of the World Cup. We saw yesterday with Portugal decimating Switzerland 6-1 in that round of 16 match. The Lion the lineup for the quarterfinals of the tournament has been decided, and top teams like Germany and Belgium are already eliminated in the group stages, while the round of 16 saw 2010 champion Spain crashing out after a defeat to Morocco on penalties. And it means giants like France, Brazil, and Portugal and England have booked their qualifications into the last eight with convincing result. Some exciting contests await us in the quarterfinals of the World Cup. Where only four teams will be going through to the semis. We have that Croatia versus Brazil game on the 9th on Friday. And then the Netherlands face Lionel Messi's Argentina on the 10th on Saturday. And then another cracker of a game, which I think a lot of Africans will be having their eyes fixated on, is that Portugal versus Morocco game also on Saturday. And then on Sunday, another big one. Two European giants, two teams with what I think, in my opinion, have probably the most exciting young squads in coming into this tournament is England and France. They'll be facing each other on Sunday, December the 11th. The 11th at the Al Bayat Stadium, and then some really really good fixtures to look out for. But just to get some educated insight on the World Cup so far and how it has panned out. Some of the performances and just the general state of football, because the World Cup is exactly that. It's a platform for the world to showcase its state of football, how good the levels are, and who needs to catch up. We saw the likes of Germany, who previously in the previous editions of the World Cup have been doing really well. But the past three World Cups, past two, considering that they won the 2014 edition, have not been really that great. 2014, I think they won it in Brazil. 2018, in Russia, they didn't do that well. And now this World Cup, also 2022 in Qatar, where they got booted out of the group stages. So the world of football is always changing. You have new exciting young players coming through into the ranks. Different countries are raising up their hands. I have a very 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 familiar face in South African football, former Santos coach, former Bafana Bafana under 23 coach, Coach Boebie Solomons. I hope he's on air. We'll be chatting a bit about the World Cup. Salams, Coach Boebie, how are you?
Very well, Shukran. And your side, how are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Just very very trying to come down after some of the games that we've seen in the World Cup. We have a few days before the quarterfinals also start kicking in. So, it's been just bumper to bumper action. As someone who's actively involved in football and someone who's coached at an international level, how have you seen the games, the performances, and just the general state of the World Cup? Your impressions as the group stages and the round of 16 have been wrapped up, and now we're looking into the quarterfinals.
I find it very interesting, and it's actually very refreshing because all the so-called smaller countries of the world, and that is for me very encouraging. Especially when you look at our country, it just shows that we can also do that. If we do our things properly, if we do it in the way it should be done. I mean, Morocco has proved to us that a local African team can make it through against I mean, giants like Spain, you don't beat teams like that when you come from Africa. And
mm,
I was happy with the performance of Senegal. I was happy with the performance of Ghana, and I was happy with the performance of Tunisia as well. I mean, they beat France in one game, although it had no bearing on getting through, but still beating France, it says something, you know. So I'm very
mm,
happy about what is happening in the world of football. I mean, Saudi Arabia, the way they came into the tournament, getting good results. So that was very refreshing for me, and it augurs well for the smaller countries in the world to say that you know you can also stand a chance to be there if the effort and the proper work into place. And if you look at a country like Belgium, I mean, 15 years ago, 12 years ago, they were number 66 in the world. And then 3 years ago, up to 2 years ago, they became number one in the world. I mean,
mm,
a country like Belgium, from number 66 to number one. What does it say for us, It says that
mm,
obviously it's possible. And we are
mm,
staying now in the 70s and late higher 60s now for many, many years. So obviously we've got to learn from that. And then we also got to question why are we not going forward like the other countries are doing. And like I said, I was impressed with a lot of our African countries, but results are different and you don't always get the results that you need to get. Maybe they need some tuning. Maybe you need to improve on either your defensive organization or you have to score more goals. You got to be more goal hungry. Something is missing. And every country, there's something different missing. So that is my segment about what is happening in the world of football now.
mm, mm. I think what you said that really stood out for me is coming into this World Cup, all five African countries that were representing us, who were representing the continent, all five of them had local coaches, and I think looking at how they played, the how they performed, although only Morocco managed to reach the quarterfinals. Um, they seem to be really, really solid performances. Do you think perhaps, for us here at home in South Africa, it probably could be the answer to us making our mark in the world stage? No disrespect to Hugo Bross and his project that he's building right now, but I think the template is there. I think what Cameroon, for instance, did with having Samuel Eto'o, former player, being the FA president, and then having Rigoberto Song, also a former player, being a coach. It kind of says, give an opportunity to the people that have been there. They understand the culture, the language, the style of football that the country is playing, and maybe that might yield the results that the country needs.
I think we need to think bigger than what we are thinking at the moment. Um, Obviously, the coaches that we did want, like Pito and some other South African coaches, that was not available, and so unfortunately, we had to go for somebody like Hugo Bruce, and I think he
Mm,
did very well. But maybe what we did not do is we did not put somebody with him that could gain experience and then take the baton from there. So we put somebody like Helman Karele,
mm,
who has no real experience in PSL football even. So
mm,
somebody like him to take over a country, that's very difficult. The same with Malifi Netseki. If you haven't even coached in PSL, you haven't coached a couple of years behind your belt. Because that experience that you gain, that experience from coaching at a high level, like PSL is our highest level, so you must actually have somebody that coached PSL for a couple of years, put him with Hugo Bruce, and then when he has done what he has to do, then that coach can take over. Similar to what
mm,
happened with the Banyana. I mean, we
mm,
had Desiree working with the Dutch coach, and it worked well because Desiree was in a position to take over. You know, so it was not a big transition for Desiree to take over, learning all the high quality skills that is needed at international level. So
mm,
those are the things maybe that we did not do and that we did not do, put in place. So we've got to get away from looking at where this person comes from, what is the color of the person, what is the club that he comes from, who's backing him. We got to get away from that. Even our players, we got to select the
mm,
players the best, no matter where that player comes from. So until we're gonna do that, then we're gonna cry all the time in our hands. So we must actually blame ourselves. We must
mm,
blame ourselves because we are not doing the correct things. I'm choosing Boebie because Boebie is a friend of Danny Jordan. You understand? So
mm,
Boebie can't play the game like an international can play. So why you want to choose Boebie? Choose
mm,
somebody who can play. It doesn't matter who he comes from, where he comes from. How are you going to get the best? We're struggling, and then we're still not choosing the best. So
mm,
then we've got to ask ourselves a question. Then we are actually killing ourselves, you know. So
mm,
that's my opinion. So even if we have, like you say, a local coach, then the local coach, whoever it is, must have the pedigree, must have the experience, at least in PSL football, before you can make him a national player, because the players won't respect somebody that coached under 12s and now he
mm,
gets a other job. I'm just giving an example. You understand?
mm,
So
mm,
what
mm,
history have you got? These things happen in the players' minds. Now you get players coming from overseas. They play high level football. They are exposed to quality coaching daily. Now you get somebody who has not reached that level. You know how those players feel? They don't have confidence in the coach even then. You understand?
mm,
You get some players that come from Sundowns. They are exposed to high quality stuff, high professional training sessions. And now you come, you see this guy struggling. Already, you know, they start talking amongst each other. There's already a signal. Hey, let's go for it. I need this. I need this exposure because I must get a new contract. So I'm going to play. I'm going to
mm,
play. But that doesn't help the country. So we got to
mm,
seriously look at why is Morocco where they are? Why does
mm,
Senegal? Why does Cameroon? Why does Ghana? Why all these years? Why even like Mali, even like Ivory Coast? Why are they up there and we still grasping at the bottom here? Trying to beat Malawi, trying to beat Botswana. Why are we still grappling at the bottom here?
mm,
There's
mm.
a reason, obviously. Because if you look at the quality of players that we have enough talent. So
Mm.
everybody says that. So then
Um,
why
a, a,
can't talent be transformed into results?
mm, a
You
lot,
understand?
a lot has been said about our players, though, that because of the quality of the PSL and them being afforded really good salaries playing in the local league, that they just don't have the desire and the heart to play overseas. To play with you know. Players who are playing, in the top leagues in the world. If they leave, there's not that resilience. They'll leave for maybe a season or two, and then they'll come back to the PSL because they just don't have the desire. Would you say that would be one
Yeah.
of the reasons why, as much as we have really good talented players, playing the PSL and
Yeah.
playing in the biggest leagues in Europe is just not the
Yeah.
same, and will always
No,
be
I
found
agree.
wanting when it comes to qualifying?
No, no, I agree because look here, our players are just too happy to play for Chiefs, or they're just too happy to play for Sundown, or they're just too happy to
Mm,
play for Pirates, or for Stellenbosch, or for whoever. They don't have the ambition to play for Barcelona. They don't have the ambition to play for Real Madrid. They don't have the enough ambition. Look at what happened last night. I mean,
Mm,
that goalkeeper that saved made three penalty saves. That goalkeeper plays in Spain, and last year he was the goalkeeper of the year in Spain.
mm,
He played for Sevilla. Now, obviously, daily, weekly, monthly, that goalkeeper gets quality training, quality opposition, quality everything. So that goalkeeper is at a higher level, and so it goes for all other players. You know, uh,
mm,
uh, uh, I've discovered this. It was something that was always said, but I've discovered this with table tennis because I play table tennis, and at the work that I used to work at, I was the top player.
mm.
And then when we challenged another company, they wiped me off the board. Then I thought to myself, how did this happen? No, I must train harder. Then I started training harder, but we challenged another company again, and then I so got beaten easily. So that's when I realized the players that I played against every day could not push me to a higher level. So they were at a certain level, and I could just beat them. I could manage to beat them. So there was no challenge for me. There was no extra challenge that made me better. I made all of them better because I was a top player in the company. But there was nothing challenging me to improve myself. So if
Mm,
we don't get quality competition weekly, monthly, yearly, then we are not going to reach the top because training doesn't only get you to where you need to be. You can train for 100 years. If you don't play high level competition regularly, then you are not going to get where you need to be. And that's what I've discovered in many ways.
mm,
So our players playing in the PSL just happy to be at Chiefs and earning a salary. You maybe you're out of pocket and now you're getting 50,000 rand, 100,000 rand. We are happy with that. We're happy with that. We don't have that desire. We don't have desire to do better. You know. So yes, you are right. I think that is one of the problems that we have.
mm, mm, mm. I just wanted to shift focus a bit to the World Cup fixtures themselves. Which one is a standout fixture for you? We have that Croatia versus Brazil game. We saw how Brazil decimated Switzerland yesterday, and I think they are also one of the teams to look out for. Brazil, the attacking style that they have, the depth that they have in the squad. I mean, you can just look at the players that they have. Richarlison, Neymar, Rafinha, Vinicius Junior. It's just a really, really good squad, and they seem to have chemistry, and they're the Brazil of old. That we've known and loved. They seem to have built themselves up after that embarrassing 2014 World Cup where they were hammered 7-1 by Germany, and while hosting, there just seems to be a different feel about Brazil coming into this World Cup. Do you see them as probably being some one of the favorites to lift the World Cup?
Don't ask me a question like that because we never had a national team in our time.
Mm,
And all our people in South Africa were Brazil supporters. Why? Firstly, they
mm,
played good football. Secondly, they had a lot of our people in that national team. And thirdly, they won World Cups. So,
mm,
so 90% of our people of that time are Brazil supporters, really by because we never had a national team. So obviously still, and I did my advanced coaching course in Brazil. So I am very, very much aligned with the Brazilian team. But what I can tell you from what I see, that Brazilian team has not yet fired on all cylinders. Eh? I think
mm.
with this last game that they played now, they are only in second gear now. The first couple of
Really,
games, I don't think they played well, but they won.
really.
They are only in second gear now. You know that Brazil team can even improve much, much more the way I see it. So
Mm,
um, Croatia is always a difficult team to face, and don't underestimate Croatia. They always are well organized. They've got a good way of playing. They've got not great individuals, but they've got players that can do damage. You know, so but I still favor that the Brazil should beat them if everything goes according to plan. Then
Mm,
the Netherlands Argentina game, I think that one is going to be the toughest game
mm.
because
And then,
the pedigree of Holland and what Argentina want to achieve, especially for the sake of Messi, because it will be sad if Messi, classed as one of the best in the world, has never won a World Cup. So
mm,
it doesn't really say much about him. People can say, he's good at club level, but he's not good at international level. So
mm,
I think Argentina and even the players are running very well around him. So I think they will be a good force against the Netherlands. The Netherlands have a youngish team and they are well structured. Uh, any player coming from Holland will always be technically very good and tactically very well organized. Okay,
mm,
but they might not have the individual ability that can turn a game because that is what you need in world football. Besides, besides very well equipped tactically, you need some individuals that can turn a game.
mm,
Somebody that can just beat two players or three players and you make the difference. Cause a
mm,
numerical advantage and so on. So I don't think that Netherlands had that. They had Ian Robben before, and a lot of other players that could do that. I don't know if they've got that type of player to
mm,
do it now. Then obviously Morocco and Portugal. I'd like to see what type of football Morocco will play because I don't think that they will play as defensive as they did
mm,
against Spain because
mm,
now everybody thinks Morocco will play defensive, and I think they will surprise Portugal and coming out with a different strategy. But I viewed Morocco. I said this to people from the first game. I said, you know what? This Moroccan team look very close to how a European team plays. You can
mm,
see the individual ability. You could see the defensive organization. You can see how Spain were putting them under pressure a lot of times, but they just didn't kick the ball forward. They still played it out of situations. They were calm on the ball. They used the goalkeeper to play it from behind. Haven't yet produced. But I think they're going to surprise us because everybody's thinking, Morocco's going to park the bus. More than any other country in South Africa, in Africa. I'll tell you why, because even I look
mm.
at countries like Egypt, you still see their players making very childish mistakes. Overrunning the ball, unnecessary holding there. Here and there, of the flying and also and you
maybe focus a bit
Hello,
on. Yes, yes,
are
yes.
you
I'm
there?
still here, Coach. Can you hear me? Yes, yes. I'm still here. I just wanted to just briefly touch on Cristiano Ronaldo yesterday. There was that big a legend of the Portuguese team, and he was benched, and it and you know a 6-1 win at the World Cup and having to the coach. But we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, is going to be answering that question for us: Cristiano Ronaldo and his future with the Portuguese national team. Will we see him continue playing in the World Cup? He
Day
said
by
as much as
day.
he can.
This is Salam Media.
You know, it's a wonder how kids get anything to with every meal I make. Naturally cholesterol free and approved by the Heart and Stroke Foundation as part of a balanced eating plan. So whether I'm cooking, frying, or baking, I know every dish will be a wholesome one. Sunfoil, now we're cooking.
Abu Huraira narrated that he heard the Prophet Muhammad, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, say, "In black seed there is a healing for every disease except death." This Ramadan, experience the health benefits of this ancient blessed seed by using the black seed range. Black seed assists the body to boost immunity, regulate blood sugar levels, reduce inflammation, and act as a potent antioxidant. Experience a holistic approach to health by introducing the Tib Black Seed Peeled Press Oil Rub. Trust Tib Health Products. For more information, visit blackseed.co.za. Available at leading pharmacies.
With so many investment options today, it's only natural that you might feel a little confused which route to take. Should I buy shares or should I invest in gold bullion? Randery Jewelers now brings you the Zahab coin, and I'll look there and watch your paper money depreciate. Change to gold. Call Randery Jewelers now at 031 202 4701. Visit www.rjcoin.co.za, situated at 151 Essenwood Road, Musgrave, Durban. Randery Jewelers, the family name you can trust.
Approximately 785 million people in this world do not have access to safe, clean water. In developing countries, around 80% of all illnesses are due to contaminated water and poor sanitation. Don't let dirty water end a life. Build a water well in Bangladesh, Malawi, Nepal, Zimbabwe, or here at home in South Africa. Donate to Penny Appeal's Thirst Relief Project to bring safe, clean water to communities around the world. www.pennyappeal.org.za or call 031 1100 573. Penny
Types, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media.
Our network seems to be, giving us a bit. But I think what we gathered from Coach Boebie is more than enough. Give some really, really interesting professional insight there. He's coached at the highest level of African football, being the under the coach of Bafana Bafana, and now running his own development back in the Western Cape. But yeah, for me and the rest of the team is goodbye. We don't have a round of football until when Friday, so it's gonna be a quiet couple of days. Football today or on Thursday, but everything else is going to resume on Friday, where the quarterfinals start happening. On Friday, the 9th of December, we're going to have that Croatia versus Brazil game in Education City, which I believe Brazil is going to just, clean sweep against, no disrespect, a very resilient Croatian side, but from what I gathered from that Brazil team, oh my God, the talent is just out of this world. And then we have the Netherlands versus Argentina game. It's going to be a pretty balanced team for me. The two teams play a very different contrasting types of football. And you have quick, has the you did have the likes of Nunes on the pitch, Angel Di Maria. So it's a very, very creative Argentina side. So that game is happening on Saturday, and then big one, Portugal versus Morocco. Morocco being Africa's last representative in this World Cup. They put on a very, very brave fight against the Spanish, but Portugal, what we saw yesterday, young talent that came through. Cristiano Ronaldo not needed, benched until the 70th minute, but the football that they played, how they were gelling as a team, how they were fluid going forward. It's going to be another interesting game. And then, as I mentioned, on Sunday, December the 11th, probably the two teams with the most youngest, best talent in this World Cup. I'm speaking about England and France. They're going to be facing each other on Sunday, the 11th of December at the Al Bayern Stadium. Very, very big game. I'm calling it. I'm saying whoever wins the England versus France game is probably going to go on and meet Brazil in the final. I'm repeating it again. Whoever wins the England versus France game is going to meet Brazil in the final. That's me. But yeah, it's going to be quiet today evening. Tomorrow again, it's going to be really quiet. But on Friday, that's where it'll kick in, and then that's where you and I will be chatting again about the quarterfinals of the World Cup. We'll be going to the semifinals as we set our eyes on Qatar. As much as we're excited to see the finals, the World Cup is quickly coming to an end, and I'm getting a bit sad. But yeah, it is what it is. It's a tournament that comes after every 4 years, and we're excited every time it comes. And I'm excited that you're here to share these beautiful, memorable moments with me and our experts, our journalists, coaches, people who live the game and who love it as much as we do. But for now, from me, Olani, and the rest of the team is goodbye until we meet again. Assalamu alaikum.